Gnosia. That name. I was actually really worried I was going to get it wrong. So I went to a website that pronounces words for you, and I listened to the way they pronounced it. So that's the way I did it.
Gnosia.
Now, after I finished the review, I was talking to the little Wiiviewer about it. And when he told me he actually really liked this game, by the way, he kept telling me I was saying it wrong, and it was Gnosia. I pointed him to the website I used to pronounce it. I thought it was weird, but I was right. Now let's talk about Gnosia. Have you ever wanted to play Among Us but don't like playing with other people and kind of wished it was just like a single player game? Well, you're in luck, because that's basically what this is, and it's mostly done well. You play as a person who wakes up on a ship with no memory. The other passengers tell you that you need to find an entity that has taken over one or more of the other passengers. You do this by talking to each other, or more realistically, randomly picking someone you don't like for deep freeze. The ship needs to warp every day, and they won't do it if they scan the life form on board. Every day a Gnosia is on board, someone dies. Usually. We'll get into that in a bit. If you do find them all, you win. If more than half the ship is Gnosia, you lose. And they take over the ship and you die. No matter what at the end, time rewinds and you start a new loop to do it all over again. Oftentimes with new parameters, passengers, or more Gnosia to deal with. You could even play as a Gnosia itself. You could see your other Gnosia teammates, and you're going to need to try and vote out the other passengers. But most of the time you're going to play as a regular character, or one with a job. To help you figure out who the alien is, they give you a few helpful jobs to narrow it down. The engineer can investigate one person a day and tell you if they're infected. The doctor can check the next day to tell you if the person that you voted out was infected. Here's the problem though. Anyone can claim to be anything. There is only one engineer or doctor per game, but oftentimes when people came forward, it was like 2 or 3 people who would come forward. And you know most or even all of them are lying. Because honestly, you don't even have to reveal yourself. Every one of the ones that come forward could be fake and trying to lead people into voting other people out. Just because they're faking their occupation doesn't necessarily mean they're Gnosia. They might be a Gnosia sympathizer, or a bug that might want to destroy the universe. Later games can get really complex in the amount of options people can be. There are 15 passengers to interact with. Their backstory is very slowly pieced out by experiencing story sequences with them. These events only show up when you set up certain parameters. There's quite a few toggleable options, so you might think it might be a daunting task to find the right combination. But it's not. They give you a button to press that will set up story sequences. So that was actually really helpful. What wasn't helpful though is they often wouldn't tell you who you needed to save or talk to in a loop. So you might just vote out the wrong person and you have to play out the round for no reason. At the end of each game, you get experience points, which you can use to level up your character. Changing some of the attributes of your character will help you out in discussions and voting. However, even this is painfully slow, and if you want a balanced character, you're going to need to grind for experience points. The biggest problem I had with this game was the way discussions happen. The very first thing you do is start up a discussion with no context. Day 1, there's no reason not to trust anyone. It's usually just one character saying they don't trust someone for a dumb reason, and you can stay silent or speak up. If you do too much of either one, you'll have a target on your back. The discussion part in the first day feels pointless, as there's nothing to base it on. Sure, you can infer some things from the dialogue if you happen to know these characters after a while and they seem out of character, but it's going to take quite a few loops before you even notice it. And even then, it's really subtle. The dialogue, though, was always the same thing over and over again. It got tiring. I wish they had more lines so it wasn't so repetitive. The very first day after you vote someone into cold storage, you could level up your character, see a story event, or say hi to another shipmate for a brief second, and then the day ends and someone might die. It is possible someone might not die because there is a guardian angel character, which that person will pick someone to not die if the Gnosia had picked to go after them. Then the next day you go into discussions and voting again. If you're used to a game like Among Us, where you do tasks and you see how people are acting from those encounters, don't expect that here. It's all based on the reports of the engineer, the doctor, and your gut instinct. Even being that simple, the game was still a lot of fun. Now the game really only lasts about 15 minutes for each one. Less than that if you happen to die on day 1. But that only happened rarely to me. Now you might be seeing all the death and scantily clad women and wonder, why didn't he put that M-rated tag at the beginning of this video? That's because this is T-rated. This game, which has multiple shower scenes, is T-rated. Now to be fair, those shower scenes are completely covered up, but they're also so unnecessary. Yes, it does reveal information about one of the characters, but there was a less fan service way to do it. Gnosia is more fun than you might expect. It does have its problems by being repetitive, but there is just something so enjoyable about it. I wish it made it clear most of the time who I needed to keep alive, or what the goal of my loop was. Sometimes it was obvious, but oftentimes it was just a guessing game. Now this title is $24.99, and I think that's a bit too much. I would wait for it to go on sale, maybe $5 less. I enjoyed my time with it, but the repetitiveness of the dialogue really started to annoy me. So if you're looking for a single player who's the alien type game, I don't think you could do much better better than this. I think you should buy it on sale. Oh, I just got a text from the little Wiiviewer. All right, let's check it out.
It's a fascinating spin on the social deduction genre for sure.
Guess I'll have to overcome my fears when Gnosia launches on Nintendo Switch.
You gotta be kidding me! All right, little Wiiviewer, fine, you win. It is Gnosia. I'm not re-recording this whole review, so enjoy my mispronunciation of Gnosia.